All right, in this video we're going to look at conditional statements. A conditional statement is a statement that can be written in the if-then form. Okay, so we also call them if-then statements. Okay, so sometimes we'll ask you to write a sentence as a conditional. So dogs have 4 legs. Well, we would want to say something like, okay, if an animal is a dog, then it has 4 legs. Now there's 2 parts to the conditional statement. The part following the if is the hypothesis. And the part following the then is the conclusion. Okay, so we've written dogs have 4 legs in a conditional form. Okay, so another example, vertical angles are congruent. When we say, if 2 angles are vertical, then they are congruent. Okay. So we have 2 examples for you to try. I would pause the video, check yourself, and see if you understand these before moving on. All right, here are the answers to 3 and 4. Hopefully you got those right. If a figure is a rectangle, then it has 4 right angles. And if 2 lines intersect, then they meet in exactly 1 point. All right, now we're going to look at writing the converse and the inverse of a conditional statement. And what we typically ask you is whether or not each of those is true or false. They could be true or false. So if an animal is a cat, then it has whiskers. All right, well, the converse is by taking the hypothesis and the conclusion and switching them. So remember, this is my hypothesis. It has whiskers is the conclusion, so the converse just switches those. Okay, so if an animal has whiskers, then it is a cat. That's, of course, false. There's a lot of other animals that have whiskers. Okay, now the inverse keeps the conditional in the same order, but we're just going to negate or add a not to the statement. So if an animal is not a cat, then it does not have whiskers. Once again, that's false because it could be any other animal and still have whiskers. So in that case, both the converse and the inverse were false. Okay, another example. A conditional statement, if you are taking integrated 2, then you have passed integrated 1. So again, the first portion, you are taking integrated 2, that's my hypothesis. You passed integrated 1 is the conclusion. So the converse will just switch those. Converse, if you passed integrated 1, then you are taking integrated 2. That can be false. Some students choose not to take another class. They could be done. The inverse is going to take the conditional statement, keep it in the same order. If you are not taking integrated 2, then you did not pass integrated 1. Once again, false. Now these were 2 examples where all of these were false. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes they are true. So we have a few for you guys to try on your own. Okay. Write the converse and the inverse for each of these. And you want to, again, determine whether or not these are true or false. And pause the video. And here are the answers for 7 through 10. I hope you did well, and I hope this video was helpful.